Hi, in this first of two videos, I would like to present to you the highest level of anti-Semitic intensity from a perspective that you might have not considered worthy of attention. When we think about anti-Semitism, we commonly think about acts of violence against Jews. It's what we hear on the news, what we talk about, and what horrifies us to the core. In the United States, the FBI and the ADL occasionally publish statistics of anti-Semitic assault, harassment, and vandalism that are reported to them, and it currently shows that anti-Semitic violence is becoming worse quite rapidly. There are too many Jewish individuals, families, and communities that are needlessly affected by anti-Semitic violence. But as serious as it is, be aware that violence is only a small part of the entire scope of antisemitism. In the diagram of the volcano here, it is the eruption part. I call this level of intensity overt-nefarious because people in this level are aware that what they say or do is anti-Semitic, and they say it openly with the intention to cause harm. This is what overt nefarious level of intensity looks like. There are two parts to it, the free speech one and the criminal one, the legal and the illegal. On the illegal side here, you see a Jewish woman who was shot in her synagogue in a neighborhood near me. Next to her are people in Gaza sending fire balloons to Israeli agricultural fields. Underneath her is a Jewish gravestone in Baltimore, vandalized with a swastika, and next to it is a young person throwing rocks at either Israeli security or a tour bus in Samaria. On the legal side, people in the United States and other countries are allowed by law to express themselves in any way they wish as long as they don't physically hurt anyone or damage anything. On the illegal side, prosecution takes place if we can find and capture the offender. In other words, in the larger scale of overt nefarious antisemitism, there is not much we can do legally in order to resolve it. There was a time when I discussed the topic of crime with men inmates in a high security prison. In part, we debated whether there might have been another venue for them to take other than criminal, and the conclusion often was that there might have been other venue, except in cases of hate crimes. The general opinion was that when it comes to anti-Semitic crimes, the perception is that it is normal, just, and appropriate to hate and hurt Jews because Jews are inherently evil. Another outcome of those discussions was my understanding that hate and anti-Semitic crimes are not necessarily committed by people who are mentally ill. That anti-Semitic crimes are committed mostly by people who are highly indoctrinated, when indoctrination is not a mental illness. It became clear to me that assigning anti-Semitic crimes to mental illness is a big mistake that we often make. At the moment, we often use the diagnosis of antisocial personality for people who commit hate crimes, and we do it after the fact due to the evidence provided by the crime they committed. We can't do it beforehand without the evidence, because then we can do much harm to innocent people. In other words, hate crimes cannot be predicted ahead of time using a mental health diagnosis. But if we take the indoctrination route, we might be able to better predict a possible outcome. It is a fact that no one is born hateful. On the spectrum of indoctrination, we all start from zero. We don't start from anywhere in the middle, and definitely not from the top. The escalation is gradual, and it doesn't take much to start the escalation. A family can watch a movie together, and when something related to Jews comes up, if a parent expresses disgust by making a single sound, it is enough to send a message to a child and to start the escalation. Next to our families and friends, we also receive cues from our communities. It may be places of worship, school, culture, recreation, etc. The escalation can be slow or fast according to the incoming cues around us. If you look closely at the faces of the people in this slide, you can see that they are very young, most likely in their teens. This is not a coincidence because they are in the rebellion phase of the human development and they are naturally looking for something to fight for. They could be fighting windmills only because their bodies tell them to. In this phase, they are ready, willing, and able to become radicalized to the point of violence. Just like a volcano that builds up the pressure towards eruption, those people build up the hatred towards committing hate crimes. We cannot stop the volcano from erupting once the pressure is up, but we might be able to cool it down so that it won't erupt. Since the volcano here represents a general community, the bottom line is that it's up to us to find the pressure points in the community and to release them one pressure point at a time. What I would like you to become aware of is that there is no mental health professional, no court, government, Jewish organization, or Mashiach that would release the pressure points for us. It is up to each one of us to take on this task. If there are 1,000 points of pressure in any community, it might take 1,000 people to release them. We can do it either individually or as a community, but the one thing we can no longer afford doing is doing what doesn't work and expect a different result. If you didn't know, now you know. Bye.